What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 17. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, as usual, I guess it's not really as usual because this is unusual at the moment, but I'm sure it's gonna be usual by, a couple of weeks later. But I'm also live on Twitch if you are watching on YouTube, and I am going to be showing the footage on Twitch. Okay? So if you're gonna be watching on YouTube, then it's gonna be a timer-based version, so you're gonna have to have your copy, sync it up with the timer, and all that stuff. But if you don't like that, and if you don't want to, hassle a bit more, then you can just head on over to Twitch, where I am actually showing the footage, but the Twitch VOD will be deleted after the reaction is over. So there is that. PIP version for YouTube will be up maybe in a couple of hours. I have to, edit a few things first, but it will be in the description below. Anyways, back to Vinland. Last time we enter the storm, and of course, Arnheid. Ooh, great set of episodes. The last two that we watched, like honestly, one of the best episodes of Vinland Saga, especially episode 15. 16 was good, but 15, you can definitely tell that they put a lot of effort into that episode. Like, my god. Thematically speaking, both episodes are great, and I am just excited to see more of that theme being explored, right? Because last time on Vinland, we kind of end with Thorfinn fighting off against Snake. I want to learn more about Snake. I want to learn more about, his ambitions, his goals, his backstory especially. But overall, it is, of course, a matter of, a fight between ideologies, especially for Thorfinn, right? It's necessary for Thorfinn to be fighting Snake in this point in the story because this is kind of going against his initial belief, right? Of wanting to stay away from violence, and now the time has come for him to use violence. But now comes the moral question of, okay, what are you using violence for, right? Is it justified if it's done for good, or is it not justified, right? And that is the thing that Thorfinn was battling against, right, with using Ashkelad as the metaphor for his own mind, basically, right? So, hope you guys, once again, if you are watching this on YouTube and you are staying on YouTube, then hope you guys have your timer. Sorry, not your timer. Hope you guys have your copy of Vinland Saga ready because there's going to be a timer. There's going to be a countdown. Once it hits 0, you press play, I press play, and then we should all be in sync. If you don't want to use a timer, then you can either head on over to Twitch if you are watching live, or if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, then there's going to be a picture-in-picture version in the description below. And I think that's pretty much it. All right. Off topic, but it's Breaking Bad today. Breaking Bad is gonna be a couple of hours after this. So I'm gonna be posting the YouTube version. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be making the episode 6 live on YouTube. So I'm gonna make that public, and then I'm gonna be posting the reaction to episode 9 on Patreon. Maybe a couple of hours later because I still need to edit that. But yes, Breaking Bad is gonna be today. So give or take 6 to 12 hours. But yeah, it's gonna be today. Anyways, Vinland, it's Vinland time. time to Vinland the Saga. That was terrible. That was bad. Anyways, there we go. Once again, hope you guys have your copy of Vinland ready. If you're on Twitch, then you don't really have to do anything but to sit back and relax. And without any further ado, let us begin. Countdown starts now. Straight to the opening. I wonder if this episode is going to conclude this, I guess, mini arc of Vinland between, Arnheid and Gardar. It would be quite hilarious if that's gonna be like the rest of the second core, and then um Canute is gonna show up right at the very end. Yeah, I fixed it on Twitch. Don't worry about that. Fortunately, it's still in the opening, so not really missing anything. All right. Oh, they're playing the same music that they played during Ashkalat's frenzy in the final season of Vinland Saga. Interesting choice of music, to say the least. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Curved swords. He's using curved swords. Kind of adds more to the, Makelagard. Hmm. The road home. Hmm. Woo! Oh my god, the choreography. Thorfinn is channeling his inner Thors, right? Fighting barehanded. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Questions, right? Questions. I mean, we know what happened to Thorfinn, but we don't know what happened to Snake, though. Woo! Man, this fight has been really snappy. And I love that it shows like a different fighting style for Snake. Like it's different from like the brute, you know, fighting style of like the Vikings, right? Or the Englishmen. There's a bit of elegance to it. Don't. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Spher- Spherical is right there. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Talk to him. Talk to him. It's about honor? Mm hmm. Talking about the worth of a man, especially in a time of slavery. No. Wait, did he? Gardar? Gardar? Focusing on her arms. She's the only one who's able to convince him. Hmm. The way she's manipulating him, though, whether in a good way or a bad way, but she is the one person that can bring Gardar to inner peace. His wounds opening back. She knows. Dude. The imagery. His younger self. Yeah, he's being. He is going to the afterlife, right? He is dying. Oh, fascinating. Beginning of the episode, season. Okay. This is sweet. This is Gardar finding his inner peace in his last remaining breath. Honor, honor and wealth. Of course he would. Go a Viking, adventuring. The decision that changed it all. Yeah, he's realizing it. this fucking show, man. God damn it. Don't you... How much do I have to pay to get like early access for Vinland Saga episodes? Anytime now, Canute. Anytime. You're missing all of the fun. Come on, Canute. You're missing all of the fun. We're waiting for you, dude. Okay, pause. I'm gonna pause the episode because I'm not gonna look at the fucking episode preview or whatever. All right, if you're on Twitch, then I'm gonna end the stream. Go back to YouTube if you wanna listen to our discussion as well. So if you're on Twitch, thank you for watching. Okay. Beautiful episode. My half of this episode reaction is just me being silent for I don't know how many minutes was it, but I was pretty silent for this entire reaction, and I wasn't sure if I want to talk during those moments or not. But we kind of, I mean, we predicted this, right? We predicted this when we first met Gardar, right? We predicted about the fact that Gardar he's between Gardar and Arneith, he's the most likely to die, right? The death flags for him is like astonishingly high. It happened in typical Vinland Saga fashion. It's a gut punch right in your feels. Even if we spent like most of our time with Gardar as a violent person who does nothing but killing, but once you learn that he has a bit of a soft side, you can't help but you can't help but feel some emotions, man. Now, the question of like whether or not Arnheid or Arnezu, the question of whether or not she is going to survive all of this still remains. Great final shot though, as they, surround her, right? Hope is gone. She is surrounded. Now, of course, we don't know whether or not she is going to be punished when the master shows up, right? Because that is how we do things, right? If we're talking about like the rules and the system, then technically speaking, sorry, the guards or the retainers, you know, when it comes to a slave, furthermore, the slave that is the master's favorite, right? And I'm sure most of the guards and the retainers know about this fact, right? That Arnheid is um Kettle's, like favorite, slave to to have around, right? Because she is his emotional support slave. um, so I don't know if they're just gonna immediately punish her right then and there, and we're gonna see an off-screen whatever, and we're not gonna know her fate. If this is a movie, by the way, if this is like a movie plot or whatever, then this is probably where I would end the story, right? Where the fate of the character is left for the audience to interpret, right? But obviously, we're gonna know more. Obviously, we're gonna see more. Obviously, the next episode, we're gonna be focusing on, the fact that Thorfinn, Einar, Arnheid, Spherical kind of help with this, despite technically speaking, Gardar is dead, so there's that. But they still helped him escape and left multiple people to die. So there's also that part of the ordeal. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna wait for the master to return, for Kettle to return, or if they're gonna do, if they're gonna punish them their own ways. Because if they are waiting for Kettle to come, then Kettle is not coming alone. Kettle is going to bring war as well. Like, if they're gonna wait for Kettle to arrive, Kettle's gonna be like, guys, hi, no time, gather the men, let's go to war, let's defend our lands, chop chop, Canute is coming. So, and plus, Leaf as well, right? So, I don't know. How many episodes do we have left? Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess 6 episodes left, right? 24 episodes for this season, so 6 episodes left. And again, this is a good stopping point for, again, like I mentioned during the beginning of the reaction, right? So how long is this Gardar Arnheid mini arc is going to last in the second core, right? We are 6 episodes into this second core, right? So this does feel like the a great stopping point for this to happen. Seven left. Wait. Oh yeah, 7. Math. So I guess the next episode is probably where we're gonna be resolving all of this, and then after that, we're gonna be having the Canute stuff. So still, her fate remains to be seen. I'm still holding out hope, especially since I talked about this in the beginning of the second core, that I feel like Arnheid is probably gonna survive the second season at least. Like, but the final scene in this episode where Gardar mentions that he's not going to leave them behind, and then he left them behind, and then Arnheid welcoming him back home, and then we see him reuniting with his son, kind of insinuates that Arnheid is probably going to be joining them very soon, and they're going to be a happy family in the afterlife. So there is that as well. Kettle's inner demon will be unleashed. That's what you guys are currently thinking, because he is loose cannon. Yeah. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but there's like, I'll worry about that later. There's something definitely fell on outside of my room. Um, I don't know. I feel like if Kettle does show up next episode or whatever, or if Kettle becomes like the final judge for this current situation, I feel like Kettle will be angry, yes, but he's not going to be focusing on that because he's probably going to be focusing on the Canute stuff more. Like, yeah, I'm angry at you, but there's bigger fish to fry. He's gonna arrive and learn his pseudo therapist basically betrayed him, and he's gonna feel some type of way and not regulate that well. True, but there's also the possibility that this is good for him because this is the character development that I want from him, right? That's always been the case, right? Of Kettle needing to let go of Arnheid and solve his own problems and, let go of all of this Iron Fist bullshittery that he has. And with Canute coming, this is also a great opportunity for him to actually be the man that he wants to be. And no longer becoming a coward. But ultimately, like, yeah, it's like one or two possibilities, so it's still like a 50-50 chance. It's either him being very mad and his character doubles down um, in his desire for Arnheid, or he's going to learn and he's going to still probably punish her, but not, the death sentence or whatever, you know what I mean? All flashbacks in this episode are anime only. The scene of the two of them being um in the card was only 6 pages. Wow, that is amazing. Vinland Saga has always been great when it comes to adding anime only scenes. Like I remember when like season 1 came out and people are like, "Herder, why is this filler?" And I'm like, I mean, I don't read the manga, but I don't think this is like filler at all. Like I think this is great. You know what I mean? Like Vinland Saga has always been great when it comes to like adding new elements while making it feel natural as possible and adding more context to the scene. Kind of goes to show that the writers for the show, Hiroshi Seko, who is the script writer for Vinland Saga seasons 1 and 2, right? The one who's responsible for adapting the dialogue and the contents of the manga into anime form I think has done a spectacular job in this department. Like he's done great. He's done great. I mean, like this episode is just again like just. I mean, it's not without its faults. I mean, there's like a shot of a spherical that looks kind of wacky. Let me see if I can find it. Um, there's a shot of spherical that seems like his head is bigger than it is. But like, other than that, it's still it's still Vinland Saga. It's still fantastically well directed. This scene right here, like, yeah, he's got a bit of a bigger head than usual, but other than that, it's a pretty good episode. Fantastic episode, I would say. it's very emotionally driven, that's for sure. And having the second half of this episode just basically Arnheid and um, Gardar escaping the farm, right? Having this sense of hope that they are going to survive, and especially for Gardar knowing that he is dying. So him just having this mental, I guess, mental escape for the time being, right? As he is dying, and we see him trying to find his inner peace, right? As he travels along this road filled with all of his past sins and all of his his previous, I guess, versions, his old past self, that is the warrior, the one who's like, the killers, the monsters, right? But then ultimately that road ends with him being whipped by, by a man, and as he fails and becomes a slave, right? That is the end of the road for him. And that is where he truly realizes, what type of life that he has led, and what his decision during that specific moment, you know, changed and altered the course of both for Hjalti and his wife. But of course, the thing that got me the most was when he finally rests on Arnheid's lap, right? As he not only asks for, like, it's a scene where he essentially asks for forgiveness. It's a scene for Arnheid as well to forgive him and to accept him, because Arnheid has been, in this conflicting manner of like, do I still support him or not? Do I still want to be his wife? Do I still want to be by his side, right? Because he's still a monster. There's still the baby in her belly, by the way. That's one thing that I also think that is going to keep her alive. Like, Kettle may hate her forever, but she still kind of has her baby, his baby, you know what I mean? Like, we can't forget that moment as well. Like, I think it would be a double depresso extravagante if they decided to kill Arnheid in her current situation when she is also pregnant. I feel like that's way too far. I'm having that copium, but I think that's way too depressing. Like, you can't just kill Arnheid while she's also pregnant. I feel like they wouldn't go that far, would they? They would not go that far. Right? Right? Because if they did, then Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Makoto what was his name again? Makoto Yukimura. I'm just saying, if he goes that route, I may have to reevaluate some things that I'm thinking about in the future for Vinland Saga. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I feel like we have reached a point in the story where main character deaths, okay, main character deaths, and I'm counting Arnheid as a main character, at least for this arc, right? Maybe not the main character for like the entire series, but for this specific arc, Arnheid is a main character. Gardar is a main character, right? They are like the central focus of this arc, right? So, but if we're talking about like main characters of Vinland Saga as a whole, right? Including, ones that are for specific arcs. I feel like character devs, they need to, they need to have meaning. and not just there to, to instill shock value. And what I'm getting at, what I mean is that the devs in Vinland Saga, at least, when it comes to the characters that we, the audience, may likely care about the most, has always been a way to further develop other characters. And for those characters that do die, right? Like think of Ashkelot, for example. Think of Gardar right now. They die as a person who is different than when we met them before. With Gardar, we meet him as, the savage slave, the this monster, this beast, right? But he died peacefully. He didn't die as a monster. He died as a father who failed protecting his family and feels guilty about it. Same thing with Ashkelot. We met and um we met Ashkelot as this cunning person, right? This sniveling tactician who swindles around every place that he goes and doesn't have a care for Thorfinn at all, as it seems, but at the end, he's the one that shows the most care for Thorfinn. So what I'm getting at is that I don't think Arnheid is going to die, because if she is going to die, then her death needs to have, like, meaning. Because right now, if she dies, then it's not going to be like helping Einar or anything. It's only going to make him worse. So, using the using the fact that I am not necessarily analyzing the story, but I'm analyzing the way the story is written by Makoto Yukimura, then I think Arnheid is gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. Arnheid's death will be about reinforcing how a mentally stable man like Kettle is dangerous. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a strong enough message for Vinland Saga. I'm currently in a state of denial of like, no. Arnheid will be fine. She'll be fine. Mark my words. She'll be fine. Next episode, we immediately cut to. Imagine the next episode, we're gonna start with Arnheid being like hang. Well, no, because that's here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? Like think about it. Think about it. Arnheid has suffered enough, right? Arnheid has suffered just as much as Thorfinn has, as much as Einar has. So killing her off just feels wrong to me. That's the thing, though. It's not like she has anything to atone to. That's the difference, right? if we look at some of the deaths in Vinland Saga, right? Again, like Gardar, Ashkelad, heck, even um what's his name? Bjorn, right? And then we extend that to like Thor's. They die while also atoning their sins. And that has been a major theme of Vinland Saga. It's about how ultimately these people, whether they are good people like Thor's or bad people like Ashkelad, or somebody in between like Gardar, they are people who have also taken other people's lives. Their deaths are, in a way, them atoning their sins. But it's also them finding peace in that. That was one of the reasons why Thorfinn was able to get out of the hellscape in his dream, right? No matter how many times the dead is pulling him back, it's because he hasn't atoned for that sin yet. He is still trying to find, ways to redeem himself. That's because his journey isn't over yet. So just if I'm just judging it from that point of view, Arnheid hasn't really reached that point. Not saying that Arnheid, is immune to all of this, despite everything that I just said. I'm just saying, if she does die, I don't think it's going to hit me as emotionally as these other people, because these people have already been set up as, characters that has terrible past, and their death is the show or the story exploring how these characters are dealing with those terrible pasts, and them accepting that what they have done is wrong, and they are trying to seek once again like atonement. And of course we got like random people like King Swain who who's a fucking piece of shit, and he deserves to die. But yeah, that's like the only exception. That's like the only exception, right? Everybody else has death that has meaning. King Swain, nah, dude, fuck him. Oh god. But yeah, overall this episode has been great. Emotions running high. Just Vinland Saga season 2 has just been a full-on emotional roller coaster, and it's just been fantastic as we explore all of these characters. Also goes, this episode just kind of deepens the one of the core elements of Vinland Saga of like war and peace, right? Where you can't have peace without war, and you cannot have war without peace. I'm looking at some of this, I'm skimming through the episode again. If anything, the last major mystery that I still have for Vinland Saga is Snake. Like, he is still the only one left who we still have no idea about his past, right? About his history. He's kind of hinting at it, right? He's done terrible things in the past, right? Again, right? Theme of the show, right? These characters have done terrible things in the past, still trying to find ways to atone for their sins. And I feel like if Snake is still here, right? If Snake is still around while we wait for Kettle to return, right? If Snake is still sort of like the de facto leader of the farm while Kettle is away and Spherical can't really do anything because of his current situation, his current, condition. I still think that Snake would probably be a bit more, level headed, right? Despite it all, despite everything, despite what happened here, right? I mean, he is fucking pissed, right? But now that Gardar is actually dead, justice is sort of served, and what is left is, the ones who are enabling this, right? Thorfinn, Arnheid, Einar, but especially Spherical, right? Because Spherical is with them, I feel like they get a better chance to deal with Snake in this regard. Because of because of Snake's relationship with Spherical, like I think Spherical can still kind of sway things for Snake, despite despite him not wanting to. Because again, we've also been building up this relationship, right? We've been building up Spherical and Snake hanging out with Thorfinn, Einar, and Arnheid, right, throughout multiple episodes, right? They've been in this house multiple times, eating day in, day out, like a family, right? They're technically slaves, but still, right? They're hanging out. They have a bond in a way, right? They have an understanding of like who they are, their levels, and of course levels. I'm talking like a video game. Their their position in the farm and all, right? So it's not like Snake hates them entirely. No, Snake has a bit of an emotional connection to them. I think that's what we're going to be exploring more next episode. That fight with Thorfinn is great though. Like again, choreography wise, it's just mwah. Sure, it's not like Demon Slayer level of animation, but like in terms of like choreography, like I said, there's this sort of elegance to his fighting style, right? The way he uses his sword, the way he pokes at Thorfinn, unlike the barbaric nature of like the Vikings and the English soldiers, right, where they're just using brute force of like just swinging their great swords and everything, right? There's this sort of, it's like a dance with him. So I'm like really curious to see like who he is. Kind of glad that Gardar didn't kill him. like I was this close in making a joke during the reaction of like, Gardar, stop. We haven't learned about his history yet. We haven't learned about his flashback. We haven't gotten Snake's backstory. Don't kill him, please. Oh man, like it would be fucking hilarious if Gardar actually killed Snake there and then. That would be a surprise, but obviously that's not the case. We still have more for Snake, right? His role in this story is still, far from over. The worst thing that Snake can do is hurt Arnheid, like punishing her, through physical means, right? But I don't think he would, go as far as death. Especially since Gardar is dead, right? And that is who they want to, punish the most, right? So I don't think she won't be, as severely punished as we may think. His fighting style is just like his name, Snake. Actually, you know what? Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Oh, dude, I just had a picture in my mind. I'm gonna end this discussion soon, but like, I'm just imagining Thorkel and Snake meeting. Like, I'm just imagining how that fight is gonna be. Like, if that fight actually happens, like, I haven't seen Thorkel in a while, dude. Like, I kind of need Thorkel back into the picture, man. I need that. I need that reunion with Thorfinn as well. Maybe this season, maybe next season. Snake versus Ashkalite, who do you think will win? I don't know. It is also interesting to note that they actually play the song that, that the soundtrack that they use during during the final episode of season 1, where Ashkalat was going, going mad, right, in the hall as he was fighting against like the when he was fighting King Swain's bodyguard. Like, it is the exact same soundtrack that they use for this fight between Snake and Thorfinn. I just find that really fascinating that they chose that soundtrack. As if the parallels between Snake and Ashkalat isn't enough. Let's just play the soundtrack as well, just to make sure that audiences will get that. Yes, there's a bit of Ashkalat within him. Yeah. Snake versus Ashkalat. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know who would win. Probably Ashkalat, simply because he's actually wearing armor. Like, that's pretty much it. He's wearing armor. He's wearing Roman armor. Like, it's not like his sword is gonna immediately pierce through that. No, it's gonna be boom. It's gonna be cling. Like, it's gonna bounce. Look at what Snake is wearing. He's wearing cloth. He's wearing cloth. That's just like just gonna hit him immediately. So maybe Ashkelad. Snake is a bit younger though, so he has that agility, right? Great episode. Great episode of Vinland Saga. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. For Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 17. Hope you guys enjoyed that reaction. Oh boy, we're still at episode 17. Like, I can't imagine how this season is going to end though. Like, I genuinely don't. I mean, the best possible idea is, of course, Thorfinn and maybe Adar escaping the farm or becoming free, right? Doesn't matter what you choose, right? Free or, escape, officially being free or whatever, but they're going to leave the farm by the end of this season, and I guess off to Vinland they go. But that still leaves the question of, like, okay, Thorfinn and Einar will probably survive, right? I mean, Thorfinn most definitely, right? He's gonna live. He's gonna get out of the farm and be with Leif and explore Vinland, because if we're going for the historical route, then yeah, that kind of has to happen, because they need to explore Vinland together. But in doing so, that means they are leaving a lot of characters in this farm, including Arnheid, and that also leaves her fate into question. But let's not worry about that. Let's worry about that next episode, when we actually see the punishment happen and whatever. So hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Take care. Have a nice day.